Hello everyone and welcome back to Circus Tutorials. In today's tutorial we'll be teaching you how to balance on a balance board. Rola, bola, Indo board, balance board, they have a couple different names, but the idea is the same. We're going to take a board, put it on top of a balancing tube, and try to balance. So we'll be going over the tubes in just a second, but first let's go over the boards and what we're going to need there. So for the boards, basically we just need something strong enough to stand on that'll hold our weight that we can learn to balance on the tube with. So these are just two pieces of pine board that I got from the hardware store, cut to a slightly different length. This is a little bit smaller, obviously, so this is more portable and for some different tricks than this one is. A little bit longer is easier when you're starting out just for mounting, but it really doesn't make that much of a difference. As for other options, you can also use a skateboard deck. If you have one of those laying around, you can use pretty much anything that you can stand on comfortably. Obviously, the best option here is going to be getting one specifically made for the balance board. So if you go out and buy an Indo board or a Rola bola from some juggling websites, they're gonna come with some very good options for your board. So now we're going to go over some of the tubes that we can balance on, and we're going to go in price range from highest to cheapest. So the most expensive are going to be ones specifically made for this. So this is a metal tube that is actually part of a pipe, and then we welded on the front of it, powder coated, and then put some rubber on the outside to give it some grip. I like this. This is the one I personally use just because I like how it looks. I think it's very pretty. And because it's metal, I know nothing's going to happen to it. It's not going to get damaged. And this is the one that I like. For the price range, this is probably going to be the best option that you can do for at home without having to buy one per se, specially made. And that's going to be PVC pipe. We can get a couple different options. So this is 4-inch. You can get this at any hardware store. And this, I believe, is 8-inch. Yep, 8-inch. And this you actually need to go to a specialty plumbing store for. The one thing to keep in mind when you get PVC for this though is get subterranean PVC. This is going to be thicker and isn't going to squish once we get on it, and is going to last a lot longer. Not that expensive. A 4-foot chunk of this I think is around $10, and you can get a couple pieces out of that. And then this is a lot more expensive, but even still much cheaper than the metal option or the specialty designed ones. And then the cheapest option that you can do for learning is simply a 2-liter bottle. If you take a 2-liter bottle and fill it to the very tippy top with water, this works as a tube to learn Rola bola with. This is actually what I learned on. I learned with a 3-liter bottle rather than a 2-liter bottle. One thing is, I would say get one that's flat. This is the only one I had laying around currently, so it's a little wavy, but it'll still work just fine. And I'll show you that right now. So now that we have our board and now that we have our tube, we're ready to get started. The setup goes like this. We're gonna have the tube on the ground with the board on top of it. When we step on it, we're going to put our foot on the bottom portion of the board first. We don't want to put our foot on the top part because it's just gonna flip and roll, and we don't want that. So we're gonna put our foot on the bottom, then put our second foot at the top. From here, we're going to hold on to something. We're gonna hold on to either a wall or a fence or a pole or your friend. All good. When you're first learning, hold on to something to practice. You're gonna hold on and rock up to get balanced on top of the board. And we're gonna slowly rock up little by little until eventually we're gonna do a bigger rock and get the tube underneath us to where we're actually balancing. Again, at first you're gonna be holding on, hold on, big rock up, and get the hang of balancing. When you're balancing on it, you want your legs to be mostly straight. A little bit of a bend is good, but if you're really bent, then it's actually quite a bit more difficult. So legs kind of locked out. You're gonna hold on, and at first you're just gonna get used to just a little bit back and forth, getting used to how it feels. Another good thing to think about is the fact that your upper body pretty much stays in one spot and your lower body moves underneath you. So I'm not like trying to balance from my shoulders and my hips. Those pretty much stay in one spot, and my legs move underneath. So you're gonna hold on, get used to that. And one other thing to think about is don't let it get too far to one side or the other. Try to keep it in the center. Because when you're first learning, it can be quite dangerous if the tube gets underneath your foot, or worse, beyond the foot. Because this is where, once it gets past that, it'll go shooting out from underneath you and you can come down pretty hard. I've seen it and I don't want to hear that happen to you. So if your foot starts getting close to the tube, just come down, reset, try again, and get back to the center. Eventually you can get pretty close to the tube, but at first we want to keep it pretty much in the center where it's nice and safe. So we're gonna get used to doing that, start playing around with the balance point, and then start letting go. So we're holding on, we're gonna be holding on, try to let go for a second or two and grab back on. Get your balance again, let go, balance, 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 grab back on. And eventually this is going to start to expand. So it's gonna start at 1 second, grab, and then 2 seconds, grab, and will slowly become more controlled until you can do it without holding on. After you can get comfortable without holding on, you're going to start to learn to mount without holding on. So same way that you mounted with holding on, where you hold on and pull yourself up, just now you're gonna have to get used to the way I've been doing it, where you rock up onto it and you're good to go. And it really is that simple. It's those steps. Just make sure, again, you stay nice and safe, hold on when necessary, grab back on when necessary, and try to keep that tube in the center. And if it gets close to the foot, just come down and reset. We don't want any accidents. And with that, that is going to be the tutorial on how to balance on a balance board. I would recommend the PVC option. That's going to be the best option for the cheapest price that you can get quickly. So you can just go to the store, get one of these, and you're pretty much good to go. If you can't get one of these right now, the water bottle option does work perfectly fine. That's actually what I learned on, so don't feel bad about it. It's a little squishy and a little weird, so once you try some other tubes, you'll kind of see what that's like, but works just fine. Of course, we love hearing from you guys. We love seeing your guys' progress, so share that with us either in the comments or through the Facebook with photos and videos. We love seeing those too. If you have ideas for future videos, leave those down below too. And if you like the video, do the whole YouTube thing. You know what to do. You've been here before. And with that, I've been Chuck Clark with Circus Tutorials, and we'll see you in the next one.